March the Spy Guy here with my third stream of the day here. The other one kind of was originally supposed to be one part, and then personal snafus got in the way of making it happen. So here we are. But I wanted to do this one because people like the as much as I do like the real world stuff. I'm not saying that this guy doesn't believe in this stuff, but I like to go down the X-Files kind of thing as well. And so this is Redacted talking about this, and this guy really gets into some interesting sci-fi stuff or real world stuff. I mean, we had Congress had a hearing on aliens, so something's going on. And here we go.
Atlas, according to the sources we've spoken to, has been in this solar system and is now about to return on December 19th for the first time in a couple 100,000 years. Of course, it was all tied to what was then on Mars, caverns on Mars. You should look into it. It's pretty interesting stuff. And
yeah, I did try to look into that. I didn't see much there. Maybe I'll have better luck on Rumble than on YouTube. But
and it's about to hit here on December 19th. It will be the closest point to Earth since that point a couple 100,000 years ago. And all of this is happening right as today we got a new trailer from Steven Spielberg for his new film called All Will Be Disclosed.
I guess I'll be checking that out after I finish the stream.
That is the new film. You can see billboards popping up all over the place. June 12th, 2026. These are all over Times Square today. And here's just a little piece of this new trailer about disclosure. Watch.
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What is it?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So I'm going to show you.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to be a bit more careful than him on these things. I know a lot of people who do trailer reactions, and if they don't cut in much more often, they'll get demonetized. I'm not even monetized, but I don't want to get the video claimed or anything like that. I did that once where I reacted to a video of the RoboCop TV show trailer, and I had to remove it from the stream because I didn't have any comments on it. And I'm like nobody. I was like 100 people at the time. Like, okay, but I just want to make sure I'm more careful.
Full disclosure to the whole world, all at once.
So Ron James is the director of media relations, the Mutual UFO Network, and he is joining us now. Ron, great.
Yeah, MUFON. That is a name that I've first learned about as a kid. They had this like almost like a telethon one night when I was like 7 or 8. So I do remember it. And they had like a phone bank in the background asking for people to call in for tips. And like they were talking about all the different types of close encounters of the first kind, second kind, and third kind. And they were generating all this. It was kind of infomercial type thing. So that takes me back.
Great to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me again.
So the timing of all of this is really interesting. I really get the Steven Spielberg documentary or a new film dropping concurrently with what's about to happen with 3i Atlas on.
Yeah, I have no doubt that was they purposely dropped it on at this time to coincide with the arrival of this object. Perfect timing. This was deliberate on the movie studios thing to make people get interested, which is smart marketing.
Friday. So first, just from the Mutual UFO Network stance on this, what are you looking for? What can we expect on Friday with 3i Atlas? And what is it for our audience that maybe is new to this subject?
Well, 3IA Atlas is going to be passing Earth at its closest point on December 19th. And terrestrial amateur astronomers are able to get pictures. It's the best. There's a lot of potential for it to be something more. And certainly if you were going to send a probe into the neighborhood of a civilization that can see into the stars, you would probably want to disguise it. So after all this time that we've been looking at this thing, we still don't know what it is, and nobody has been able to disprove some of the claims that people like Avi Loeb are making, although he does caution that, with everything that we think it might be, it's still probably just a comet.
Yeah.
And MUFON believes that it's probably just a comet. We did a deep analysis about it and sent it out to everybody on our newsletter, and I think you guys have a copy of it now.
Yeah. I've spoken to insiders who are involved in the secret space program, members of the military who have multiple times been to the underground bases, the arcs that are sat off the coast of Puerto Rico. One of them just now moved off the coast of Venezuela. They're scattered all over the earth, and also the moon base. And these sources have been saying,
right? Holy crap. Like, I'm just learning about some of this stuff now. I mean, there's this woman who believes that she worked in the George H.W. Bush administration. She thinks that we spent all this money building underground cities as well, arcs, secret moon bases. I don't know if I believe in all this stuff, mainly because it would be cool, but I don't know. Why hide a secret moon base? Wouldn't that be cool if everyone had that, unless there is some sort of threat? Hey, moon base alpha is a thing. If you ever watched the old show UFO, that was a thing. They had a secret moon base and to fight the UFOs.
Avi Loeb is correct, although not specifically on 100% on the accuracy of what it could be, but that this is returning to our solar system. It was here 100,000 years ago, couple 100,000 years ago, and it's tied to Mars and the caverns that are on Mars.
Yep. Once again, there's caverns on Mars. So maybe I should start looking through some of his older recordings and start talking about that kind of stuff, since it seems to be of interest. It's certainly interesting to me.
Maybe you can talk about some of the stuff about Mars, because some of the drawings and stuff that I've been seeing from insiders who've sent me these things point to some very interesting things happening on Mars.
Well, MUFON likes to stick to the scientific investigation of the phenomenon for the betterment of humanity. And the stories that we hear about secret space programs, bases on Mars, solar wardens, spaceships out patrolling the solar system, although they're interesting.
Solar warden ships? What?
We can't say that we give them any kind of provable credibility.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, it doesn't mean that there's not something to these stories, because where there's smoke, there's fire. And
also, remember what I talk about. The way to keep things secret nowadays is not to keep them locked away in some vault with a nebulous conspiracy. It is to flood the zone with as much misinformation as possible so you don't know what to believe.
I think that there's a lot of evidence that Mars was once a living, thriving planet. And people that have been doing research, like Dr. John Brandenburg, who says that there's certain radioactive isotopes on Mars that could only be put there from some kind of a nuclear war. So the
interesting
history of Mars is a mystery. I'm not surprised that they finally found life on Mars. I believe they found it back in 1976 when they launched Viking and just didn't tell us the truth about it. And
why wouldn't they want us to know about that? That's why I kind of get it. It's sort of like, why don't you want us to know? Why do you want to keep this secret? Like if it's just multicellular life forms or worms or something small like that, why keep it a secret?
The idea that 3A Atlas is going by Mars, perhaps dropping some terraforming dust along the way, interacting with technology that's long been buried on that planet, it certainly has its appeal.
If you look at the Billy Meyer materials, which, this might be a bridge too far for some people. It's not for me, because I'm open to anything. So just show me the evidence. And Billy Meyer on June 16th of 1987 talked specifically about Mars and said that there's a lot of water on Mars under the surface, mostly ice, close to the surface near the South Pole, and said there's special importance in this regard to the South Pole. I'm quoting now.
Yeah, I do believe that's true. I think that's been proven. I don't think that's been like any kind of conjecture. It's like the moon, the ice they found on the moon. Like,
and that this will one day be used by Earth to one day colonize Mars. So he said that in 1987. And then, of course, it was corroborated finally in 2001. With the Mars.
That's what I thought. It was found, and we figured this out. We long speculated it was so, and we proved it. And we've also have evidence of it on the moon, and we have every intention of exploiting that for fuel, if nothing else.
Odyssey missions, and then March 2002, 2002 detects evidence of water ice in exactly where Billy Meyer said it would be. So there's a lot of mysteries on Mars that I don't know how 3i Atlas is tied to it. I don't know, but I'm definitely fascinated by it. It's certainly curious that Elon Musk wants to go there and colonize it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Mars represents the best opportunity for getting a human colony off planet. And I think the more we discover Mars and the more we explore it, we're going to find verifiable evidence of past civilizations on Mars. I think that's quite likely. I think that there's already significant evidence that there's been structures on Mars that have been long destroyed, and who knows what's going on under the ground. But I think Mars is going to be the gift that keeps on giving. And I think the more we actually involve ourselves with Mars, the more we're going to find out about our own history.
So on Friday, it'll be at its closest point to Earth. A lot of because a bunch of people in our chat room are asking,
did life be again far out there, far beyond the universe, in another galaxy, and come to Earth? Or maybe did it just come from Mars, which has long been a speculation. I've had several interests. There is a great H.G. Riddle novel, which is set in that kind of thing. And I don't want to spoil too much, but it is like, no, it was Venus. Yeah. Venusians, the survivors of the Venus nuclear war come to Earth, and after long testing. It's an interesting book. I really recommend it. I'll have to look it up.
You'll be able to see it with the naked eye. What sort of telescopes will you need to be able to use? Will you be able to see it with the naked eye if you're in an area that doesn't have a lot of light pollution?
I haven't been told that you will. It's still far enough away and small enough that it's going to take some sort of reasonably good telescope to really see it.
At MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, you guys handle a lot of eyewitness accounts of UFO and paranormal activity and have to catalog it. You send researchers out to kind of confirm it through scientific evidence, if there's some sort of a crop circle or other like physical material and other things. Yes. So you do a lot of work to try to bring science behind it and catalog all of it. There's quite a few people that are pointing to Steven Spielberg's new film, which of course the trailer just dropped, in this new disclosure movement that we're seeing. We just saw the documentary Age of Disclosure, of course, as well. You guys have a brand new documentary as well. Maybe you can talk about that. And are we moving towards disclosure? And here's Accidental Truth. Let's put that up on the screen. There it is, Beyond UFO Disclosure. So
that's the sequel to my film Accidental Truth that came out in 2020. It's still spoken of as one of the best UFO documentaries. And in Accidental Truth Next, we're going beyond UFO disclosure, because at some point we're going to be acknowledging that we are in the presence of a non-human intelligence of many different varieties, and we have to start.
Yeah. So the book is called The Extinction Trials by A.G. Riddle. I do recommend that for people who like that kind of thing.
Thinking about the nuts and bolts of how that affects us moving forward.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, because we have Steven Spielberg, the movie coming out, and it's all this drip feed. You know, this all happens, right? It's all happening for a reason, I believe, and those I've talked to inside believe that this is coming as well. So we're getting this disclosure. Likely, maybe we'll see it in 2026. It seems like we're moving in that direction. So once that happens, like once the people that are like, oh, I'll never believe this, and then that ship has sailed, once that has happened, how do we handle it?
Well, we have to have mechanisms in place to deal with it. And the thing that's going to be the most difficult about disclosure, especially if it goes far enough to really tell us what's going on, we're not just dealing with beings from outer space. We're dealing with interdimensional beings. We're dealing with beings that live in places that we don't even have a way to fathom right now.
Yeah, that's certainly something I noticed. Looking at the alien spacecraft, it does seem to be they're flying around with force fields around them. And my understanding is that the math, we are just figuring out the math now. And maybe that's why we're getting into the disclosures. The advanced mathematics that explain how these craft could work from quantum or physics or whatever. Don't look at me. I'm an historian, not a math guy. That might be one of the reasons, because now we can explain, we can have scientists come out and explain how this all works. So that might well be why they're deciding to let it go, clue us in now, because before it was like, we didn't know how to explain any of this shit.
Now we're possibly dealing with beings that have been here on the earth, inside the earth, and out of our sight for a very long time. And it's not so simple as just to say there's a extraterrestrial from another planet and they're visiting us. It plugs into our consciousness, the whole nature of reality, the spiritual teachings that we've been given since we were able to record writing, and it all fuses together in what is going to be a whole new way that we have to look at our existence, the nature of our reality in itself. So it's going to be core questions that have to be answered on an individual basis. It's not just, hey, we're not alone in the universe. That's the easy part, actually.
Right. And how do we harness this technology for both good? And I know there's going to be people that want to use this technology for bad, which many of them have already been doing, as we've highlighted here on the show. So It's very concerning, right? And it's funny, and not funny, but it's sad. We've thousands of years. I mean, go back to cave paintings. I have a few of them here.
Yep. There's cave paintings. Like, you can watch old Leonard Nimoy documentaries about those type of things.
I mean, there's just a few examples throughout history, long before video, long before phones, long before any of that. We go back, thousands of years with cave paintings of UFOs and all of that, going back many, many thousands of years. So this is not like a new phenomenon.
It's not. These beings have been with us for really all of recorded history, and may even have a hand in our genetic engineering and how we became the efficient human beings that we are, with this really fantastic physical design that seems to work really well. What's interesting is that we're coming full circle. The people that are having encounters today, especially the so-called experiencers, people that are having individual encounters with these beings who are telling them things, are being told the same things that we've been told as a species by non-human intelligence for a very long time, be it angels, demons, gods, messiahs. The message is the same, and it's basically become peaceful, wake up, embrace your spirituality, and you'll be able to move forward in a way that enables you to become part of a galactic family. And if
Hey, like that old movie where the aliens come down to say, hey, we noticed you were making atomic missiles, and now our solution is whenever we encounter a civilization such as yours, we just make a giant robot. We make sure that to disarm you. And when you're ready to join up with us, you'll probably okay. But we can't have you make atomic missiles to threaten all of us.
If you can't do that, then we're probably not going to get let off the planet, and we're headed for self-destruction. So no matter what the face of the message is, the message is largely the same throughout history.
When you look at, I'll get you out of here on this, I'm always curious what MUFON is cataloging lately, as you guys have that central database. Have there been, in the past few weeks, has there been one or two big sightings that you've just been stunned by? Has there been anything that's happened that you want to share?
I don't have anything that recent, because I don't think we've had anything that really just jumps out. But what we do have is a lot of people contacting us to tell us that they've been getting messages about what this comet is, and that they're getting these psychic intuitive hits. And then we're also seeing a lot more unidentified submersible object reports. But we think that has to do with the awareness that's being created. And, just one last thing, you were mentioning the Steven Spielberg movie. He's been involved with, E.T., the Close Encounters movie that was supposed to be a recreation of the Eisenhower meeting at Edwards Air Force Base. A lot of people think that Steven Spielberg has had people whispering in his ear and kind of guiding him to reveal information. So there's every reason.
Prepping the groundwork. Getting us all comfortable with the idea that we're going to meet aliens. That's always a possibility. Putting out the proper narrative to make us believe and accept what's coming down. Hey, maybe we're ready for it.
Reason to believe that there's going to be a lot of grains of truth in this new film.
Before we let you go, can you just mention briefly, because I kind of had a brain moment where I couldn't recall, but back during Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when Steven Spielberg was putting that together, the reason that he came up with that film is because of the Eisenhower film, correct?
Yes.
Can you explain what that is?
Eisenhower had a meeting with some extraterrestrials at Edwards Air Force Base, and
yeah, we're definitely going to have to do something on Edwards Air Force Base. I was looking into some videos earlier today. Some are like 2-hour documentaries. I don't want to react to that. Some are 15 to 30 minutes. So we'll probably do something on that. There's a famous skunk works and other things like that. And of course, we remember those who watched the Antarctic the video I reacted to on Antarctica will recall this meeting as we looked into it then.
I think it was covered up under the cover that he was going to the dentist or something, but he went out there and supposedly there was footage of this craft coming down and landing. And there was other footage too. That footage was supposed to be released to some people that were making a movie for Disney, but the government backed out at the last minute. But there is out there footage of some kind of object descending at Edwards Air Force Base. And it is said that Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind was kind of documenting that encounter between non-human extraterrestrial species and humanity. And that was when a lot of agreements were made. So somebody said something to Mr. Spielberg, and we believe that that's probably the same thing that's happening now with his new movie.
Yeah, just many years later, someone called him in and said, hey, we want to show you this. Do with it what you want. We're not telling you to go make a movie about it, but it starts, in many ways, it starts the big, slow movement towards disclosure all those years ago with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you doing this. And well, I guess we'll be watching, Ron, like what happens this week. And yes, people can tune in. When is your documentary available, Accidental Truth?
It's going to be a staggered release starting in February. This is Accidental Truth next. And if people haven't seen the first Accidental Truth movie with Matthew Modine as our narrator, they can watch that for free on YouTube right now. So it's a good one to get caught up with. And then
I guess I'm going to be having to do that. I'm going to watch the trailer and then I'll watch that movie. Okay.
The next one is really, it's going to blow people's minds.
Highly recommend it. Go check out Accidental Truth, the first one, and then get ready for the release of Accidental Truth next. So we'll be definitely watching that. So thank you so much, Ron. Great to see you again, as always. And
you too.
Keep on.
And there we go. That's the end of that video. So we've done 3 videos today. I'm very happy with myself, especially after yesterday when I didn't do any. I kind of got called in to work and I was kind of tired after that. So trying to maintain a schedule, but sometimes maybe we'll have more videos. Sometimes we won't. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting the panel together on Friday again. I'll have to send out a reminder to the group and for a time. Hopefully we don't get any snow Friday. That would be the only thing that would derail it at this point. So yeah. So thanks for supporting, and like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends. And we'll go from here. Bye-bye.